Welcome, wrestling fans, to the PW Fan. The PW Fan is a pro wrestling podcast created by fans for fans, and we appreciate you joining us for episode 30. Welcome to Wrestlemania. I am your host, the old school wrestling fan, collector, barber, musician, talk wrestling, Tim Gilbert.
And I'm your host, the architect of Pro Wrestling Podcast and Funko Pop collector, Andy.
The no-selling indie wrestling. He's the no-selling indie wrestling fan who loves soccer, aka football, for all you UK people. Okay. Today we are going to be talking about WrestleMania and AEW Dynamite. We're going to keep it short and sweet today. Let's get to the point. Before we start the show, though, please, everyone, head on over to our YouTube channel by searching the PW Fan on YouTube, and that's where you're going to find full video episodes, and you're also going to find a back catalog of all of our old episodes. If you're not one of those like Apple Podcasts or Spotify people, you can find all the episodes on there too. And when you're there, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you are one of those audio streamers, please leave us a review on Apple Podcast. Rate us on Spotify with that Dave Meltzer 5-star rating. We would really appreciate it. And last but not least, before we get into the show, if you want to rep a t-shirt for us, get some merch, you want to go to prowrestlingtees.com/the PW Fan to get your pocket logo tee and become part of the crew for 2022. All right, Andy, let's get started, man. Big episode, WrestleMania episode. And I just wanted to say before we get going, how crazy is it that our 30th episode just happens to be the WrestleMania episode? And let me guarantee the people listening, we did not do that on purpose.
Yeah, if we never took that
we've
2 weeks off,
we've taken random days off and been delayed here and there. Yeah, not on purpose.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, dude, let's get started. What do you got for us?
All right. This week on Raw, I mean, this entire week WWE wise was it was all go home episodes for Mania, this 2-day Mania this past weekend. There was a Brock segment on Raw that opened it. Typical stuff, just promoting the Roman match. One segment I wanted to talk about just briefly, Seth Rollins met with Vince at the WWE headquarters in Connecticut. And Vince pretty much told him that Seth is going to have a match, but it's going to be a mystery opponent of Vince's choosing. So we will find out who that is once we jump into WrestleMania. Bobby Lashley returned after not being seen since the Elimination Chamber, and it looks like he is going to be wrestling Omos at WrestleMania this year. There was a Roman Reigns segment on Raw, which is rare because he's not a Raw superstar. Another Kevin Owens segment, just about Stone Cold. Bianca Belair came out and ended up cutting Becky Lynch's hair. Edge had a segment. AJ had a segment right back. It was all just go home, just to wrap up the storylines right before WrestleMania. So nothing too in depth with Raw, at least this week. But if you kind of needed, a final closure on some of these feuds, Raw, did some final segments on a lot of them.
Yeah, at this point, I did notice. I was just gonna say something more exciting. During these last couple of Raws, I was like, all right, let's just get to Mania. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, let's get it going.
Yeah, it was a lot of the same stuff on both SmackDown and Raw.
We get it.
They kind of just
we get it.
Same promos with the same people. But I get it. There was so much time to Mania. It was longer than normal
for sure.
Pay-per-view amount. I think it was like 6 weeks they had to drag this out. But let's hop into Dynamite. I believe the opening match was CM Punk versus Max Caster.
I thought this was a good match, man.
Acclaimed. I thought it was a good match. Winner was CM Punk, though. Yeah. I mean, as you all know, me and Jeremy have talked. We both like the Acclaimed. No, I used to have arrived. I used to talk shit about them, but I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I mean,
he had a line with
like
the Z-Pack. He's like, "I'm gonna make you crap your pants like a Z-Pack to Punk."
Yep, to Punk. Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, I caught that. I forgot about it. But yeah, the winner was CM Punk, and after, yeah, if you don't know, I think it was Cole Cabana's podcast, just when Punk bagged on WWE years ago. He talks about
isn't fun
being sick
anymore.
and them giving him a C-Pack, but the acclaim likes to bring out everything. Yeah. So afterwards, there was an in-ring interview with Tony Schiavone and Punk. What I got out of it was at the end, towards the end of his segment, Punk says by the time he's done AEW, there'll be more gray in his beard. By the time he's done, there's going to be more scars. And by the time he's done with AEW, he will be world champion before his time is over. So that's, Punk has his sights at some point set on it. He says, he's either going to fight Adam Cole Bebe or he's going to get into some cowboy shit
hope
with
it's Adam Cole.
Hangman Adam Page. So Punk's
Adam
gunning
Cole,
for the title. You hope it's Adam
Yeah.
Cole? I mean, I think the story would be better instead of two baby faces, but we'll have to see. So yeah, I'm excited to, I think it was a matter of time before Punk finally hopped into the title picture.
It needed to happen. I mean,
let's see where it goes
he's
from
been
here.
back for a few months now. He's been on a huge winning streak, and that's the thing. If AEW is going off of win and loss records, then Punk needs to be the guy coming up. I mean, he's won almost every match once.
He's lost once, right? Speaking of, I think you're wearing a CM Punk shirt right now.
I'm wearing the classic 2011
is that
Punk
WWE
shirt.
one?
Yeah, this is the WWE one. This is old school, baby. Yep.
That's the one fist, right? The new one has the two, I believe. Okay.
Yes, you do believe.
So, at some point after that, we had a good, interesting match. Jon Moxley versus Jay Lethal. I enjoyed the match. Winner was Moxley, and afterwards, Jay Lethal being a man of honor. Moxley went to shake his hand, and that whole code of honor thing Jay Lethal has. He didn't want to, but he ended up shaking Moxley's hand. This is Jay Lethal's, I don't know, second loss?
Yeah.
Possibly. He lost to Sammy. No, third. He lost to Adam Cole.
I believe he did,
wrestle Adam Cole?
Yeah.
He mentioned his losses recently.
Well, if you watched, if anyone watched the Super Card of Honor, you know that Jay Lethal doesn't have any honor anymore because he basically turned heel at the end of the show.
Oh, okay. Hey, we can mention, you watch Super Card of Honor, or at least some of it. We can mention a few things before we get into Mania. Just some highlights, because some of it does affect AEW, or all of it, because they own it now. So, all right. After the Moxley and Lethal match, I wanted to talk about, there was a segment with MJF. Now, try to refresh my memory about it, but all I wrote down about the segment was MJF had been going around the building and posting, don't let Wardlow in pictures everywhere, like flyers. And at some point, Wardlow made his way into the building and tries to go after, I guess, MJF, who I think was on commentary at the time. I forget who was having the match. I think one of the guys. I think FTR was having a match. Yeah, that's right. So Wardlow comes out into the crowd, tries to get to MJF, but Wardlow gets taken out like the swine he is, as MJF would say. And I think MJF called him a piggy again.
Man, I remember that. Dude, that promo made me feel so weird. Just go back on that one more time.
Yeah.
That was
I will say for this feud, the FTR is getting over huge as baby faces because it's they're like, we're still with Wardlow, and the whole crowd's cheering for them.
Yeah, their whole thing is like they're friends with Wardlow too, so whatever.
See, here's the
between
thing.
them, they don't want any part of it.
I just want to. Well, hang on. Sorry, I just want to
Santana
throw this one thing in there. So
okay.
So over the years, right, the
you're
initial
fine.
thing that I remember is the Goldberg push. So the big guy who dominates everybody, beats everybody up. Now, the reason why Goldberg worked is because it happened organically. He started doing that, and the fans gradually were like, oh, man, this guy's badass and awesome. Now, over the years, they've tried to do this type of thing with other people, men and women, not just the dudes. But it doesn't really catch on because it's almost like that they're trying to do the Goldberg thing. You're like, oh, you're just trying to do this. Like, you're trying to make that character who beats everybody. It's basically trying too hard, and then it doesn't work. However, with Wardlow, I feel like it's back to being very natural, where the fans have slowly been like, nah, we like this guy. And it's kind of been like a slow thing over time, which is why it's working. It has to happen naturally. You can't make somebody be that character. It's almost like the fans have to choose that that's the person that they want to do that character. Well,
they also didn't shove him down our throats.
The first
right away and start pushing him. They just paired him with MJF and let him.
No, because the first one that comes to mind is Ryback,
basically,
and early Batista. But then Batista took off when the fans slowly but surely took his side with him in the Triple H Evolution stuff, which to me is very reminiscent of the Wardlow MJF stuff, where it's like this douchey kind of rich guy telling me what to do, and then all of a sudden the big guy has had enough and he turns on him and the crowd is like, we're in. Right.
The fans despise the other guy even more to where they want this big guy to go through it. Yeah, I get it. Well, I guess he's still technically off the roster or whatever the AEW has going on, but we'll see how long that lasts. Santana Ortiz and Eddie Kingston returned this week. They hadn't been seen since the pay-per-view, I believe. Or no, the night after the pay-per-view when the JAS was announced. And they all got attacked. And they returned to go after the JAS, and I think they get beaten down again.
Yeah, they got the upper hand at first, and then they come out, they beat them down.
On top. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they pulled back that curtain to be like, guess what, they're not here, and then, well, they were there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did it a few weeks in a row now, so they are back. We had a debut this week against the Bunny in the Owen Hart Foundation Women's Tournament. Toni Storm is all elite, and she won her match, her qualifier match against the Bunny. She looked great. The crowd really, was behind her. I've always been a fan of her, starting with NXT UK. Obviously, her time on SmackDown kind of sucked, but I don't think that's her fault. They were doing shit like throwing pies in faces with Charlotte Flair. It was just terrible. So I'm excited to see what she does. She's really good, and she's been a star all the other places that she's gone to. So I think it's a good sign.
Yeah, I can't wait to see more of her. I'm kind of hoping that she kind of wins the tournament as like the lift off, and then she goes for the title or something like that.
Me too. Yep. And lastly, with Dynamite this week, our main event was Darby Allin versus Andrade. This was a hard-hitting match. It was really, I really liked it. They were going at each other.
Did Andrade get
but the winner
jacked?
Man was Andrade.
I haven't seen him wrestle in a while. Yeah,
dude, ginormous. He's like, it's like almost like he's like a jail body. Like he's just skipped leg day, and he's just all upper body now.
Dude, he's got.
I think
he's got that Mr. Incredible body. He's got the jacked upper torso with the skinny legs.
Yeah, dude, he's
right.
Did something happen though with the Hardys afterwards? Did they all start getting attacked and the Hardys came out again?
Up Sting and Darby, and then
And that leads to our match this coming Wednesday, which is the Hardys versus Butcher and the Blade in a tables match.
They're really running through all of these matches to get this feud over with for the Hardys.
Yeah, dude. I mean, fucking Jeff the other day said something about how much the Swanton Bomb hurts him and like people. He's like the other week I absolutely crushed Mark Quinn. I was like, yeah, dude, you fucking dropped like a sack of potatoes from that top rope. Sometimes
that one
looked rough. Roll out of it. Sometimes he rolls out of it, and other times
he like bounced off of him and
himself,
went
dude.
back.
I just want you guys to think though, like, and this is what I try to say, because these guys are human beings, okay? Like, yes, if you look at the caliber of athlete between 2022 and let's say 1987, all right, like the guys now are crazy, like the amount of athleticism they have and what they can do. But it's still a human body. Like Jeff Hardy is saying that a Swanton Bomb hurts him, like to do. Now think about these guys that do the other crazy.
Dude, every time he does it,
what I'm saying
he grabs his lower back. Every time he gets up from it,
he's not even doing a full front flip. He's doing half a front flip and then landing on his back. Think about the guys that are doing this other insane stuff. Like, how is that going to feel? Like, if your finisher is something gnarly, it's like, how are you supposed to do that when you're 42? You know, like, I don't understand. AJ Styles is like a freak. Somehow he can still do it.
Well, that's why they tell these dudes, like,
yeah.
DDP yoga. DDP yoga forever.
Yeah. Who knows? So that wraps up, though, what I wanted to talk about with Dynamite. I'm actually going to jump to Rampage and then do Smackdown because we're just going to be rolling with WWE for the rest of the show after that. So there was only one thing I wanted to talk about with Rampage this week. It was the opening match, which I thought was good. It was the Young Bucks versus Top Flight. Top Flight, they're awesome. They're fun to watch. And I'm glad they're back together. But this was a good match. The Young Bucks won, though, in the end. So... Yeah, Jeremy, you saw it, right?
This is a great matchup. Like, I can't wait for like a pay-per-view style match for these two because I feel like I know it's going to be like, you know, people call it acrobatic stuff, but I mean, it's fun when they're really good, like both these teams. And also just a quick thing for like in terms of the Super Card of Honor because the Young Bucks were actually there.
So let's get into that.
I was going to cover just like two things. But...
So catch us up on some of the big things.
So basically, AEW wrestlers cleaned all the championship matches. So they won all of them. So it was like Wheeler Yuta won. Suzuki actually won his first American title ever. Which I forget which one it was, but
so you said Wheeler Yuta
won the Pure Championship, which is kind of cool in Ring of Honor. So the Pure Championship, they have like you can't throw punches or kicks. It's kind of like more wrestling. So like they get like 3 rope breaks per match. That's kind of cool. But the big one was then Mercedes also won. She won
Mercedes
the
Martinez
interim one.
Yeah, I saw that.
But the big one was FTR versus the Young Bucks. Then the main event. The main event was Jonathan Grisham. He won. And that's where Jay Lethal came out afterwards and kind of turned on him. And then Samoa Joe came out at the end and surprised everyone. And now he's actually going to be on Dynamite this Wednesday. It's kind of crazy.
Nice. And I think you said FTR versus the Young Bucks. It was FTR versus the Briscoes, right? But the Young Bucks came out.
Yeah, so the FTR versus the Briscoes, like I've seen the Briscoes wrestle a little bit. Like I haven't seen them too much because Ring of Honor is kind of before at least was hard to watch. Like if you didn't have there
was no fans.
Whatever
there.
It was
awful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, even before that, it was like they didn't have too much TV.
Well, what I would do is I would go to.
Before CW,
well, what I would do though is I would go to it's so annoying. Like before, I would go to my whatever my cable service was, and then I would find the Ring of Honor show, and then I would go to like 4 episodes out, and it would be like oh, it's going to air at this weird time. And then I would click the DVR for that one. And then I would go like a week later and it would be at like 10 p.m. and one would be at like 9 a.m. And it was so annoying. So I was like, but I would like find like 4 episodes and like DVR them out. So I could like, they would do it automatically. So I didn't have to search for them.
That was the time during the time I just had to watch highlights or something or clips on YouTube in order to know what was going on.
But this so FTR versus the Briscoes, they've been having like this Twitter feud basically, going back and forth doing promos. This was probably the most intense tag team title fight I've seen in a long time. Like both of them were, it was from very start, it was very intense. The crowd was totally into it too, and they were both bleeding by the end of it. But yeah, the FTR won. And then they headed towards the back after they shook hands and everything with the Briscoes. And then everyone was saying thank you to the Briscoes as like their last thing of Ring of Honor. And then the Young Bucks come out and super kick both of them. And then FTR comes back out and tries to save them. So it was just what's that, Tim?
Oh no, I just didn't want to forget. I'm just showing up for the screen. If anybody's watching on YouTube, so I'm a big action figure guy, and WWE already, God, they're super fat. Or actually, sorry,
I have one.
It's not WWE. Fig. It's AEW. Already has another Cody fig coming out, but like even though he's with WWE now, but it's with the gear that he wore at WrestleMania. Dude, he's so smart.
That he wore at.
Dude, he's so smart, dude. Like he knew. He was like, man, this figure is gonna come out with this gear. I'm gonna wear that gear now. I'm like, fuck, God, that's like Inception. That's like Inception level thinking right now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, so that was it for Ring of Honor.
Way to ruin WrestleMania for anyone that hasn't seen it.
Come on, we'll get there. Everybody relax.
You know what I realized? So real quick before we go into WrestleMania, after watching this Ring of Honor show and then watching WrestleMania, I get the argument when people say like pro wrestling versus sports entertainment, and you know what? I enjoy both of them so much because I will get into it in WrestleMania. But one of my favorite matches had all the Jackass people in it.
Yeah, man.
A lot of people love that match. Yeah, we'll get into it for sure.
WWE. Yeah, we'll talk about it. But I just wanted to say that WWE with WrestleMania this year, and I was like, all right, I don't like all of it, right? But I'm with you. I'm with it. Yeah. Like I kind of get it now at the same time.
Yeah, when it's done right, like
just have to look at it like
I love it.
Just
yeah,
they're just different, and you can't. I don't think a lot of people say they're not really competition because they're completely different kind of shows.
Yeah,
they truly are, and the WrestleMania versus something like Supercard of Honor, you can totally.
That's why I was like afterwards, I'm like, oh, I get it now. People make that argument.
Yeah. So what you were saying though about FTR, so now they are the AAA champions,
and I think they're defending it now. Actually, both the titles on this Wednesday against the Young Bucks, which I didn't know that part. But
was this Young Bucks FTR 2, something like that? Okay, cool. So let's get into SmackDown, the final WWE show before Mania. It opened up with the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which is usually saved for WrestleMania. You had Finn Balor in there, who is the United States champion, which means this guy was not having a WrestleMania match, and this is his fucking.
He could have easily had one.
Could have. In there.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those things where it just is. Finn is very underutilized. He is one of those guys where I don't even care. You know what? They could push Finn Balor to the opening match and make him job out to freaking Drew McIntyre. I don't even care. But like Finn Balor is still going to be one of my favorite wrestlers. I love Finn Balor. He's awesome.
So the winner of this match, I knew it from the beginning. I was like, this motherfucker's gonna win it. Before the bell even started, I saw he was in it. Madcap Moss. Madcap Moss is your Andre the Giant Battle Royal winner. Fucking knew it, dude.
Who Tim didn't know until he dropped what's his face on his head.
Until Drew dropped him on his head.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Tim was like, who is this guy?
Who the hell is that? There's these memes going around. He reminds me of there's a couple like WWE wrestlers. There's these new memes going around of I guess with like COVID and like injuries and stuff. All these hilarious looking dudes have been going to the NBA that like no one knows who they are. So people will like somebody made this meme that was like, I'm convinced that the NBA just does like create a player because who the fuck is this guy? And it's just this like random ass dude with like bleached blonde hair, slick back, and like tattoos. And it's just like that's how I feel about some of these guys. I'm like, who the hell is that guy? It's like stock player number
Default
one,
number 3.
yeah, default call wrestler number 1.
Dude, I used to love those creative wrestler things. I would like take them so seriously and like do every little detail.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a throwback. Haven't thought about that in a while. I would spend hours, man, making some of those people.
Yeah.
This was before you could download whoever
Right. Yeah.
from
And now
online.
they just make them and you can download them. But before you had to copy what they did, piece by piece.
Yeah, dude. They're like, go up 75 clicks. You have to count like one.
I know,
Dude,
it's
it
so
was
annoying.
tedious.
Go up 75 clicks.
Yeah, and then Tim would like mess me up. I'm like, motherfucker. Just reset and start over. So another thing that bothered me this week on SmackDown was Ricochet, who's the Intercontinental Champion, had a triple threat with Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. He retained, but that means that he wasn't getting a WrestleMania match this year, and he's the Intercontinental Champion. When did the Intercontinental Championship just die?
Was it when Sami Zayn and Knoxville started happening?
I don't know. I feel like it's when they changed it.
Yeah.
Changed the look.
Back to that black belt.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
The white IC belt is the best IC belt ever. I like it even more than the Ruthless Aggression round one. Personally.
People hate that one.
But I mean, that was our generation.
People hate that oval.
Yeah, it's weird though, because to me, in my head, like in my childhood, that is the Intercontinental belt. But I do agree, I love the white one. It's classic. That's like the one like Mr. Perfect and Ultimate Warrior had. Like that one's and Scott Hall, that one's so sick.
Yeah. So yeah, this year Finn and Ricochet did not get matches at Mania, even though they are champions. That wrapped up SmackDown. Now, if you tuned into Peacock right afterwards, they had the Hall of Fame on there. And it opened up with the Steiner brothers. Braun Breaker, Rick Steiner's son, is the one that inducted them. And there was a funny line that Braun said right before the Steiners came out. He said, I'm about to make the... God, what do you say? One of the biggest mistakes of my career.
I'm taking the biggest risk of my career, giving the mic to my Uncle Scott.
That's what it is. So if any of you fans out there know, Scott Steiner's promos are off the wall. They don't make any sense half the time, and you would just have to go to YouTube and watch them because they are just something else, really.
Look up. Just go to YouTube and type in Scott Steiner math equation. You're welcome.
So yeah, the Steiners opened. Then we had Queen Charmel being inducted by Booker T. Shad Gaspard got the Warrior Award.
Which, Jesus Christ, he should have won, obviously.
Yeah. I think
obviously.
Warrior's wife's name is it Dana? They call her Dana Warrior. Dana Warrior came out, talked about Shad, and then Shad's wife and Son came out, got walked down by JTG, and they had a really touching video package for Shad right beforehand. So, I mean, that was an emotional tribute. That led into Vader, who was inducted by his wife and son. And Nikki Bella, I know you're not listening, but you should know that Vader is no longer alive.
He doesn't know he's dead? Oh my God, she doesn't know that he's dead.
Yes, Nikki Bella thought Vader was still alive, and she could not wait to hear his speech. The main event of the inductees, though, during that night was The Undertaker. And The Undertaker was inducted by Vince McMahon, who you never see during the Hall of Fame at all. So it was very rare to see. Taker comes out, and he's wearing like a TED Talk mic. And he basically...
One of the best TED Talks ever.
One of the best TED Talks ever. It was a very long speech. I don't know. It was like half an hour to 45 minutes. He's just pacing. He's just walking around the ring back and forth with his headset on. It was a good speech, though, but he basically tells, the audience 3 life lessons he learned. I don't know. It was very odd for
the
Undertaker.
First life lesson I learned.
Yeah, it was like perception is reality, and something about loyalty and respect, and something else. I don't know, but congratulations to all of them. Yeah. Taker definitely deserved it. I mean, all of them deserved it, But that was a Hall of Fame. Let's jump into WrestleMania Night 1. So I'll just go through the matches. We'll, briefly hit on some of them and talk more about others. This first match, I was over at Tim's place watching, and I know he was busy with his putting his daughter down, so he actually didn't get to see the opening match. But it was Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Jeremy, you watched this, correct?
Yeah, sponsored by Mike's Hard Lemonade.
And Rick Boogs were dressed in colors that matched the Mike's Hard Lemonade drink that they were promoting all over WrestleMania.
That is too funny to me.
The match was going pretty well until Boogs picked up both Usos onto his shoulders, and his knee gave out. I think it was a legitimate injury.
Yeah,
because I read the finish had to be changed. After that, Boogs was pretty much out and was 2-on-1, and the Usos retained the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. So the Bloodline still has the belts, and Boogs.
Yeah, that was tough for him.
Yeah, Boogs got injured, so.
He had to be carried out. He couldn't even walk.
And he's a big guy.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
Yeah.
And dude, isn't this the second time he got jacked up on his neck? No, he jacked somebody else's neck up.
No. You're thinking Ridge Holland. This is the guy that plays guitar for Shinsuke. Another guy that you're like,
I thought he already got hurt once.
No.
No. He didn't get hurt on NXT? Am I thinking of somebody else? Who am I thinking of?
I don't know. I've only seen him in NXT for a very little bit, and then he was brought up to just get paired with Shinsuke. I only saw him wrestle 2 matches.
Well, the point. I guess the point being is that a lot of freaking neck injuries recently, man. Some scary stuff. You had Big E. You had this. You had somebody else, and I feel bad not remembering their name.
Well, Boogs hurt his knee.
His knee?
Yeah. This is the match you were.
All right,
putting your daughter down during. That's what I said in the beginning.
So what we're gonna do is Jeremy's gonna cut this part out, and we're just gonna continue on. So keep going.
So after the Usos match, we had Happy Corbin versus Drew McIntyre.
I like Sad Corbin better. Sad Corbin forever.
Yeah, because fucking Corbin sucks. And Happy Corbin's just.
But when he was like
fucking annoying.
depressed and talking about how he had no money was hilarious.
He's like, my wife left
He
me.
was like, yeah,
My
just,
car
Yeah.
got repoed.
my life left me.
He's like, I got ketchup on my shirt.
I spent all my money in the stock market.
Vince was like, just don't shave,
Sad Corbin.
don't shower.
Sad Corbin.
Drew McIntyre won. He kicked out of the end of days, which apparently they said was the first time anyone has ever done that. For some reason, I don't believe that.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But, you never know. I mean, I don't keep track of Corbin's matches, so if they said it, then just
Yeah.
have to go with it. Apparently, Drew was supposed to have WrestleMania caliber entrant, but he nixed it because of time. He chose to nix it himself. So after Drew and Happy Corbin, we had the Mysterios versus The Miz and Logan Paul. Logan Paul comes out with, I forget how expensive the Pokemon card is, but it's like the most rare fucking Pokemon card out there right now. It's around his neck as a necklace. I think his fight against Mayweather, he had a really expensive Charizard around his neck. So this seems to be his kind of thing. Dominic impressed me in this match. He had a couple, moves I haven't seen him do before. He keeps getting better and better. I know Tim doesn't really like him. But,
Oh my god!
I will say his outfit was ridiculous. That's for sure. But the winners in the end, which I guess it makes sense if Logan Paul is going to be there. The winners were Miz and Logan Paul. Let's talk about Logan Paul's performance, though.
I don't know
what you think,
really.
Jeremy.
Because Logan, I mean, I guess I know he's an athlete, really, but his selling, I thought was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
That was the part that surprised me.
His selling was good. He did a move where he front flipped off and did like a cutter coming down. So that was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I know Tim didn't want to see the Logan Paul wrestle, but Tim, what did you think of Logan Paul's performance? Yeah, what do you think of it?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, afterwards, when the Miz and Logan won, Miz couldn't handle the spotlight or couldn't share the spotlight with anyone else, and he did a skull-crushing finale to Logan Paul. So I'm wondering, Raw is tonight. I don't know if, they're going to continue a Logan Paul storyline or not. I know he wants to wrestle, but, we'll have to see. Maybe, they're not going to put him on NXT. I guess they could. I guess they fucking could, but
oh god,
get some young viewers to NXT 2.0. But I don't know if Miz turning on him makes Miz a babyface because people fucking hate Logan Paul.
Yeah,
or if it just makes Logan Paul.
People hate Logan Paul. He's always going to be a heel no matter what. So he's not a babyface. But I don't think Miz is either.
Yeah,
that was just like a heel who didn't want to share the spotlight.
All right, guys. So if you're watching or listening, especially if you're watching though, you'll notice that it's just me and Jeremy now. Tim is having computer issues, and he will not be back for the rest of the episode. So me and Jeremy are gonna, just power through WrestleMania, give our opinions, and just go from there. So we are now jumping. We just got done talking about the Mysterios and the Miz and Logan Paul. So we are going on to our next match, which is Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. I actually went back and watched this because I was a little distracted at Tim's house watching it because of Tim. But this was actually a really good match.
Yeah,
and I'm in the end, Bianca Belair won. That's some of that, long-term storytelling that they started all the way back at SummerSlam. Bianca finally, got her title back from Becky, who beat her super quickly. Just, good long-term storytelling. Congrats to Bianca Belair. I thought it was the right time to take the belt off of Becky. She can't have it forever.
I know.
Then we're talking about people like Roman and stuff who've had the belt for fucking like 2 years or something.
It's going to have it for over 600 days now.
Yeah. But yeah, what do you think of this match? You know, Becky's sporting her new hairdo, looking like Haley Williams from Paramore.
Yeah. I don't know. I think probably some of like the makeup on her face too made it a little bit worse, just because how it was definitely more red, right? Like it was more like orange, I think.
What, her hair?
Yeah.
Her hair was very orange, but she had like this red like makeup on her face.
Yeah, it was like all of her covered her like cheeks basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the match was really good. I think the ending was cool how they did it. And yeah, I think Bianca Belair, I'm glad that she won the title. I feel like she hopefully gets a better run this time than last time, which I know ended with Becky coming back and with one move and finishing her. So kind of glad they did this, not just have her lose again.
Yeah. Well, after that good match, we had another good match, which is, I don't know about you, it's my favorite match of the whole weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say match of the night, but it's match of the weekend.
So Seth Rollins needed an opponent for WrestleMania, and he comes out, and you know, we've been talking about the rumors for the past couple weeks. We all thought it was going to be Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
And, you know, Seth's out there, and they kept fans waiting and waiting.
A long time.
A long time, yeah. The lights go black in the arena or stadium. I should say it's a big-ass fucking stadium. And then you hear wrestling has more than one royal family. And it's the American Nightmare. Cody Rhodes, you know, the place gave a big pop. Same exact gimmick as they had in AEW. They just took him from one, popped him into another promotion, and dropped him. And big reaction, you know, wearing the same gear he wore in AEW. He came out, you know, kind of hooked everything in for a little bit. Him and Seth had a really solid match. Like I know everyone's talking about Cody.
It was really good.
Props to Seth, because he, you know, it takes two to, you know, make it work in there, and Seth did a really good job. Cody ended up winning the match. There was a lot of false finishes. I remember watching with you over this Zoom shit, and you know, we were basically only a second apart when it came to time wise, but yeah, they almost got me a couple times. I mean, I was just hoping Cody would win on his freaking night back.
Yeah, when Seth kicked out of that first Crossroads, I was like, oh no. I was like, I feel like they're gonna like you know, have him lose on his debut.
Took him 3 Crossroads. Yeah, they both went for pedigrees.
He did the bionic elbow too.
Yep.
Which isn't crazy. But yeah, it was the whole entrance, like just seeing the same exact basically AEW Cody coming into in a WWE ring, and also the entrance itself. I was like, this feels really weird. Like it just, I don't know. It still feels weird to me. Like seeing him, like he opened Raw, which is, since we're recording at the same time, he opened Raw, and I'm still like, this is not. I can't see this. And I see his neck tattoo on Raw now.
It's out there in a suit. Weird. But it just looks like he's just. It's just so weird seeing him back in WWE. But I really enjoyed the match.
Yeah.
Tim, I responded to you. I'm in the middle of recording. That's why I did not. Okay. No. I didn't want you to get mad. I was just recording. I couldn't like text back and answer in the middle of doing a. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Alrighty. So after Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, we had Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair was the winner. Look, I'm not a big fan of Ronda Rousey and her matches. I'm just not. They did the best they could. A lot of, you know, submissions and ankle locks and figure eights and all that, but it wasn't a bad match. It just didn't keep my interest like, you know, some of the other matches, or like the Becky and Bianca match. I know originally it was.
Yeah, it felt long.
and I think everyone knew what was coming next. And I mean, at least I didn't. I was just like, I'm just trying to get to this final segment of the night, which, let's hop into the Kevin Owens show with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I just wanted to tell the people, sorry guys, I am back. I've been having it just started recording again. I've been having bad computer issues tonight, so I apologize, but I'm going to try to stick out the remainder of the show. Sorry about that.
Well, I want to ask you, now that you're recording, I do want your thoughts on the Cody and Seth Rollins match.
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I think it's going to be, if not the match of the year, up in the top 3. I was totally shocked. Honestly, I didn't want to believe, or not want to believe it, but I wasn't going to believe it until I saw it. And when I finally saw it, I was like, wow, he is really here. And it's just so weird. I think we were saying before we all started recording, it's just so weird to see him go from AEW to now, because it's like you just picked him off one show and just plopped him onto the other one. It's just bizarre to me. It's wild.
It's a bizarre world out here. But yeah, let's jump to the final segment of WrestleMania Night 1, which was Stone Cold Steve Austin on the Kevin Owens show. Kevin Owens ends up telling Stone Cold that he invited him out here not just to talk, but he wants a match, and he challenges Stone Cold to a no-holds-barred match. Stone Cold accepts, saying that his first match ever was in Dallas, and he'll do his last match ever in Dallas. And dude, for what it was, I mean, Stone Cold, no-holds-barred match is the way to do something like this with a guy his age. And he took a suplex on the concrete. He was taking bumps. Kevin Owens sold his ass off. I mean, it was pure nostalgia. It's hard not to smile when watching, something like this. They fought up the ramp, onto the stage. It got thrown into the barricades, using weapons. I mean, it was great. It was fun. Afterwards, Stone Cold, Stone Cold's drinking beers during the match. Like, as Kevin Owens is down, he's like getting beers tossed to him and just drinking them as he's moving along, just quenching his thirst. Super fun though. I loved it. I was kind of iffy about it before, and when the rumors were going around that he was going to have some kind of match, but no, I'm here for it. It was fun. What do you guys think?
Yeah. As soon as he came out, like in his gear with his like knee pads on and everything, I was like, oh yeah, hopefully they do this like as a match. And then as soon as the ref came out, I was like, all right, yep, this is already great.
My favorite of the whole segment was when Kevin Owens says, Steve, I didn't ask you to come out here really to be on the Kevin Owens show, blah, 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 blah. I asked you to come out here to fight. And then the whole crowd was like, oh shit. And that's when I was like, oh shit. And then, man, that's when I got like super pumped. I was like, let's go.
Yeah, there had to be a reason why it was going to be the closing segment of the entire show. It couldn't just be a talk show,
Yeah, it couldn't be an interview.
Well, apparently, according to Ronda Rousey's friends, she was bummed out that she wasn't the main event. Dude, as a wrestling fan, she can get over herself.
It's all right.
Fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin in Texas, having a match for the first time in 19 years. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
That beats her.
Like, it just beats you out. Loved it though. So let's get into night 2. I'm gonna kind of go quick through some of the matches, and then some we'll get a little bit more in depth with. But okay, so night 2 opened up with Triple H coming out, who we had talked about recently retired, and he comes out, he thanks the fans, says welcome to WrestleMania, and he leaves his boots in the ring. So it's official. In case you hadn't heard, Triple H is retiring from in-ring competition. Our first match was RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy for the Raw Tag Team Championships. This match was awesome. Great opener. Really fun.
I liked how they did the 3 people in, like one from each team instead of just the 2.
There was
which I think helped it a lot.
There was a couple of spots, but there was one by Riddle where he Yeah,
like a springboard
Montez
RKO.
Ford was on top of the top rope, and he was about to jump off, and Riddle pops up, jumps off the rope, and does an RKO of his own. And then a little bit later, Chad Gable goes for like a splash off the top, and Randy gets an RKO and wins the match for them. And afterwards, there's a toast of what I think is just water in the fucking cups. And they invite Gable Steveson, who is on the outside, who had been signed recently by WWE, and they ask him to get in. Chad Gable smacks Gable Stevenson's cup out of his hand, and Gable, now there's two Gables now. Gable Steveson takes off his shirt and ends up belly to belly suplexing Chad Gable. Both guys are, collegiate fucking Olympian wrestlers, but yeah.
I mean, it looked good.
I think
for like one move that he
his
did.
career in WWE is supposed to start after Mania. I think he's been at the Performance Center, but maybe he'll pick it up quickly like Kurt Angle. We'll see. I feel like they're putting him on the main roster. So, but when you do that, man, you're gonna get booed. Because when they brought him out, first night? I didn't even write it on here. There was hardly any reaction. I mean, respect to the guy, but
no one cared
now, man. You got to earn that kind of respect. Like, it's just how it is.
Like no one really cared at all.
Yeah. Up next, we had Bobby Lashley versus Omos. Now, I would say this was the worst match of the night, but we got one worse later on. I mean, look, it was Omos is still green. He just plays that big monster card. He does it well, and then you have Lash. It was a big move fest. It was trying to get Omos off of his feet, which Lashley finally did at the end. I believe he won with the spear because Bobby's not picking up Omos like that and doing that.
Yeah.
But Bobby
he tried to. He did suplex him.
Bobby Lashley ended up winning. Yeah, there wasn't much height on that suplex though. So the winner was Bobby Lashley. After that, we had Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn in an Anything Goes match. This match surprised me. I really was not looking forward to it at first.
Yeah.
And then I understood what it was, and it was fun. It was comedic, and Sami Zayn is so good. Just to be able to sell like this and put him in this spot and to deliver, you have to respect Sami Zayn for that. So throughout the match, they're just using like makeshift weapon, or they're using WWE weapons, but then there's also like props from like Jackass and things that the Jackass guys made. And they had a couple guys from Jackass. You had Chris Pontius, you had Wee Man, Jasper.
Yeah. When Wee Man came out and they suplexed,
body slammed,
or not suplex, body slammed,
body slammed Sami Zayn. The crowd popped, but then Sami Zayn Helluva kicked the shit out of Wee Man's face. They showed it in slow motion, dude.
Went out of the ring.
Fans were like, "Oh!" Like I watched, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, you just felt bad for him.
I feel like the Jackass guys were like, "No, you can really hit us. It's okay."
Fucking kick the shit out of you, which he did. Johnny Knoxville ended up winning with a mousetrap contraption, which I could tell was just. It was like just PVC plastic pipe, but Sami had to sell it like. I mean, it came down kind of hard on his chest, but after he got pinned, he had to act like he couldn't lift it. And it's like, dude, it's just fucking plastic tubing. Like
I couldn't push it.
So, it was entertaining. They used like a taser at some point. I mean, I don't know if he actually got tased or not.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was fun. We hated on it for weeks talking about Johnny Knoxville, and again, like we said, with this show,
that was fun. I like how they did that.
We get it. It's just
one of my favorite was the hand when Sami Zayn was running, and then like that giant hand they used before.
That's why I ran hard. Like some of the stuff, like had to have, like been like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So props to them. They put on. You have to have it's sports entertainment. This was entertainment. It was fun. Yeah. And kind of got people to just, chill out. It wasn't like a filler match, but it was also like a set the mood kind of thing, like let people enjoy themselves, have some fun.
Yeah, it really like brought the mood back up, especially because it was after the Bobby Lashley match. So
after that, we had a women's Fatal 4-Way tag team match: Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley versus Carmella and Queen Zelina, who are the defending tag team champions, versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler. There was a lot going on with this match, a lot of moving pieces, but the winners in the end were Sasha Banks and Naomi. I kind of had a feeling they were going to win.
This was like. Yeah, this felt like because they didn't do a women's battle royal.
It's a way to get
put them all
more
in a
women
tag team
on the
match.
show, and I get it, and it sucks that this is the way they had to do it. But I feel like everyone had a little moment to shine in the match. It wasn't bad. It just it was okay. It was fine.
Yeah. There's nothing.
After that, we had
special.
Edge versus AJ Styles. Now, Edge has a new theme song, new entrance. He's tapping into some old Brood like character kind of thing. Well, first let's talk about the match. All right.
Yeah.
The match itself. I don't know if my expectations were too high, or I was thinking about this Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins match, and I was like, man, that's gonna be hard to beat. Watching it, knowing it wasn't going to be like that, because I had heard I had to stop it the night before, or the night it actually aired. I stopped the pay-per-view right before this match, and I finished it today because it just got late. I had to get up early today.
Yeah, because we work.
So, I don't know how I did all those years when it was just one night crammed in the fucking head. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You get like 4 hours.
So, I'd heard that it wasn't anything crazy, but I went into it. It was a slow-paced, methodical wrestling match. It was good in that sense. I don't know if maybe. I mean, I feel like Edge could keep up with AJ if they did fast-paced, but I don't know why I wouldn't want fast-paced. Maybe I wanted something like the Cody and Seth match, but this Edge's very like everything meant something in the match, and it's a lot of like thinking behind it, and so in that way it was a good kind of match. And I don't think it's over, because this match ended with AJ was going to go for a phenomenal forearm, and Damian Priest pops up and distracts him, and when AJ it makes AJ hesitate, AJ goes for the phenomenal forearm, and Edge spears him out of midair and gets the 1-2-3. Afterwards, Edge. It wasn't a bad ending. I saw some people hated it, but to me, it makes the feud feel like it's unfinished, especially with afterwards. Edge kind of was acting like he was surprised or in shock of like, what's Damien gonna do? But then he starts smiling, and it looks like Edge is starting a stable, and his first recruitment is Damian Priest, and it's going to be a dark stable. Yeah, his music is dark, his entrance is dark. I think he has talked about how much the Brood meant to him and how much he loved it, and I think kind of like Triple H did with Evolution, like that was his Four Horsemen. I feel like Edge is doing like this is his version of like something similar to the Brood.
That's like his last chance.
So I wonder who else they're going to get. Maybe Tommaso Ciampa. I mean, I don't know who else they could get on that roster now, but
that'd be cool.
So after that, we had Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Well, okay. One last thing about the Edge and AJ thing. Yeah, I know it was like a dream match, and when AJ had his match against Shinsuke a few years ago, my expectations were super high because of the Wrestle Kingdom match that they had before, and it was a similar fashion to this one. It was like slow, methodical, and if you go in expecting it to be one type of way, you overlook what it actually ended up being. It wasn't a bad match by any means. It was just more thought was put behind everything. Is all how I'll describe it. Yeah.
It's just different style.
So we had Sheamus and Ridge Holland versus the New Day next. Winners were Sheamus and Ridge Holland, with Butch on the outside. Match wasn't very long. It was kind of just like a cool down match, I feel like, for our next match, which was Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. Pat McAfee comes out to the white stripes, comes out with the Dallas cheerleaders.
That got everyone going.
And Pat McAfee, he can go. I mean, or at least make it seem like he can go. Him in Theory put on, if you had ever seen Pat McAfee wrestle in NXT, I mean, he can do stuff in the ring and not look bad. I think he's been training on and off since like 2017 is what the video package was saying when he first was getting in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked really
he
good.
did a swanton.
Yeah. He had like a back
landed on his
off
feet.
The top rope.
Yeah, I mean,
like Theory pushed him.
He's a natural athlete. He's an ex-football player. Sometimes those naturally athletic guys can just do stuff, and he did, and he ended up winning the match.
Yeah.
Well, afterwards, Vince McMahon doesn't seem too happy, and he fucking took off his shirt and suit and got in the ring, and the bell rang, man, and. Okay.
God.
It was the worst match.
It's not good.
One of the worst matches of all time. Might have been worse than Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole years ago at WrestleMania. Okay. Pat McAfee, poor Pat had to sell his ass off taking these shitty clotheslines by Vince and getting thrown to the corner. Like Pat couldn't. Dude, and then you have the announcers like Byron Saxton and Corey being like, look at his muscles. Like talking about Vince, like, I guess he works out, but
like Vince, this is the most he's looked his age in a while.
It just was not good. Vince fucking punted a football, kinda, into Pat's stomach and pinned Pat 1, 2, 3. Afterwards,
this part saved
they
it
almost had to do it. Afterwards, was Theory starting to beat up Pat? Is that what?
But it was Vince and Theory were celebrating in the ring, and then
Glass shatter. You hear it. Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out. Crowd erupts. They thought they'd only get to see him the first night. No, you get to see him the second night. He takes out Theory in his ear gear again. He takes out Theory, and then grabs some beers, and he says he just wants one beer with Vince. And he ends up stunning Vince, and it's the worst stunner I've ever seen in my entire life. One, Stone Cold kicked him, and he instantly drops to his knees. Stone Cold goes to grab his head, but he's already too far low. Stone Cold picks him up again, throws him against the ropes, bounces him off a little bit, goes to kick him in the stomach again, and it's... I don't know. Vince has like the worst timing or something because it was just. There's a video on TikTok. I sent it to the guys in the group chat of Mick Foley dying on his couch laughing, watching Stone Cold stun Vince. It's awful if you haven't seen it. Apparently, Vince isn't embarrassed by it. Why would you be when you're 76 years old? But he's never taken a good stunner. And it's just gotten worse over the years.
Yeah, I mean, because I was thinking about like the worst stunners. It's Vince, and then also Vince, and then maybe Linda McMahon. And then Vince.
After that, he tells Pat to get in the ring, and they share a couple beers for a second. Then Stone Cold stuns Pat, who sells it greatly. He drops flat back like he's just been, cold cocked.
Yeah.
He sells it good. It was fun. Stone Cold was having fun. You can tell he was smiling. He was laughing.
And then Pat was drinking a beer while he's laying
Pat was
on the
having
floor.
fun. Good for Pat having his moment. It just look, as a fan, I would have been fine with just Austin Theory match. I did not need a Vince McMahon fucking match. And that was the original rumor, if you don't remember, months ago, that Vince McMahon was going to have a match with Pat. And then we were like, nah, it's just Austin Theory now. No.
Yeah.
They fucking did that shit, and it was not pretty.
Yeah, and I was listening to Pat's show. He did. It was like he still has a show Monday, so he was doing it, and he was like, "Yeah, I didn't. He didn't know anything about the Vince match. I don't know if he was saying that, but he was just like
it's terrible.
Yeah, and so he was just like going with
I saw there was a clip of him talking about
that's bad.
I haven't got it. It's like 15-minute clip though. Of
Yeah.
him talking about the experience and stuff, and sharing beers with Steve Austin.
Yeah, and he didn't know that Stone. Yeah, he didn't know that Stone Cold was going to stun him either.
But when he does it, you're like, oh, I guess I'm getting stunned. You have to fucking take that shit.
Yeah.
But all right, let's wrap it up and get into the final match of the night. The biggest WrestleMania match of all time. The biggest match ever. Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion, versus Brock Lesnar, the WWE Champion. This match was, I mean, it felt like a big match. You know, it felt like a big heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
if you've seen the match once, you've seen the match. I mean, this match has happened many times.
Yeah, I've seen it.
A lot of big moves. It was a lot of big moves.
Same exact thing.
Spears, suplexes. It wasn't bad. Yeah, Superman punches,
F5s.
tackling through barricades, spears through barricades. Paul Heyman getting threatened by Brock mid-match, and then, Roman saving Paul's ass. In the end, Roman won with a spear. At one point, though, Brock did get Roman in a Kimura lock, and I think Roman's shoulder really popped out of place. I think AJ's did also during his match, because AJ, they mentioned it, AJ clamped his shoulder in between his legs and pulled, unless they were just selling that whole thing from when Edge had injured AJ's shoulder when he made his debut back at the Rumble. If they were just like kind of doing that little story, like, oh, AJ already had a hurt shoulder. But Roman's, it was actually bulging out, you could see.
Yeah.
And Roman at the end had to grab the rope and like kind of do it. But he had trouble holding the one title in his left hand. After he won, he held both titles up, and he was really struggling to get that left one up over his head.
Yeah.
But Roman
and then Heyman just carried it.
Yeah, I think the rest of the way. But Roman is now, I don't know what they're going to call it. I mean, the announcer announced Roman as the new undisputed WWE Universal Champion. But that's also what Paul Heyman introduced him as. No, he said
he left out the WWE part.
He said it.
No, he said it, yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to get another belt and just combine that. I don't know if Roman's going to be a champion on both shows now. I don't know. But just have...
Yeah, I've seen there's like leagues of like maybe a new title, like the undisputed title. But I don't know if that means that they're going to have that in one show or if it's going to be both.
We'll just have to wait and see. But Mania was fun.
Yeah.
It had its whatever moments, it had its bad moments, and had its good moments. I'm always entertained in some way by WrestleMania, and I'm so glad that they've been doing two-nighters, because that one-nighter was just getting rough.
Yeah.
They just kept making the show longer and longer.
Dude, it was like 7-8 hours.
Like, we're starting at 6 this year. There. It's like, it's not over till 12 though. Like I got work in the morning. But yeah, guys, that wraps up the show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to do Tim proud. Follow us on all social media at the PW Fan, and follow me on Instagram on my Funko Pop collection at the 410 Fan Bros. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. This has been our WrestleMania pod this week. Talk to you next week.